The day I lost everything was the day my life finally opened its doors. I was sitting on the floor of my empty apartment, surrounded by boxes I couldn't afford to move, when I realized I'd run out of tears. A breakup, a job collapse, and a lease ending all within 2 months. It felt like life had shoved me face first into the dirt and then waited to see if I'd get back up. And honestly, for a moment, I wasn't sure I would. I kept replaying the same thought. How did I let it get this bad? I'd stayed in a relationship that drained me because I was terrified of being alone. I'd stayed in a job that dismissed me because I was afraid no one else would hire me. And I'd stayed in an apartment that never felt like home because moving felt like admitting failure. But the day my ex came to pick up the last of his things, he paused at the door, looked at me sitting on the floor, and said, "You'll bounce back. You always do." It was meant to be kind, but it hit me wrong. I didn't want to bounce back. I wanted to move forward. So I did something wildly out of character. I packed one backpack, grabbed the last of my savings, and got on a train to a coastal town I'd never visited. I didn't have a plan. I just needed distance. From the city, from the noise, from the version of myself that kept shrinking to fit other people's expectations. The first morning there, I walked along the cliffs and felt something lift off my chest. Not joy. Not yet, but space. Space to breathe, to think, to exist without anyone needing something from me. I rented a tiny attic room from an older woman who smelled like lavender and insisted I call her Maggie. She ran a small cafe by the harbor and offered me a few shifts to help cover rent. Working there felt strangely healing. The rhythm of it, brewing coffee, wiping tables, greeting strangers, gave me a sense of presence I hadn't felt in years. One slow afternoon, Maggie slid a mug toward me and said, "You look like someone who's learning how to live again." I laughed, but she wasn't wrong. The unexpected shift came one evening when the cafe hosted a local open mic. I had written poetry in secret for years, but never shared it. Maggie nudged me toward the stage with the kind of confidence I didn't even have in myself. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped the paper. But the moment I started reading, the room quieted. People actually listened, really listened, like my words mattered. Afterward, a girl about my age approached me. She said, "I didn't know other people felt like that too." Something inside me clicked. My voice, the thing I'd always hidden, had reached someone. And suddenly all those months of feeling like I had lost everything felt purposeful. I started writing more, not to escape my life, but to understand it. The poems turned into small journal entries, the entries into short stories. Maggie began printing them and pinning them near the counter. Customers asked for copies. Some stopped me just to say a line had stuck with them all day. It was the first time in my adult life I felt seen for who I actually was, not who I was trying to be. The turning point came when a local magazine reached out. They'd heard about my pieces through a tourist who visited the cafe. They wanted to publish one of my stories. I looked at the email 3 times before I believed it was real. When the issue came out with my name right there in print, I cried in the alley behind the cafe and let the joy hit me full force. What I thought was the end of everything had quietly been the beginning of something entirely new. I eventually moved into a small apartment overlooking the harbor, with windows that filled the room with golden light at sunset. I kept working at the cafe, kept writing, kept choosing myself in small ways every day. The best part? I'm not afraid of losing things anymore. I know I can rebuild. I know I can start again. And I know now, deeply, unwaveringly, that sometimes life isn't falling apart. It's rearranging itself to push you somewhere you were meant to go. And for the first time in a long time, I'm genuinely excited to see where I end up next.